Hello everyone, I am Parikshit and welcome to another very exciting session on Unacademy CAT-alyst. In today's session, I'm going to talk about a very important topic, how to build your profile for the IIMs. Remember, most of you, or I rather say almost all of you, are just focusing and concentrating on the CAT written examination. But remember, clearing the CAT written examination is just one step in the game. There is a lot more to go, and for that you need to ensure that your profile is strong. Today I'm going to talk about a lot of things, a lot of practical things which you can do in the last 5-6 months before your CAT, right? Or for that matter, before you actually go for and sit for the interviews, last 6-7 months, practical things which you can do. I'm not going to tell you work on your ACATs because that's something which has already happened and you can no longer change your ACATs. I'm going to talk about practical things which can be done and which must be there on your resume should you desire to clear an IIM interview. Let's get started. Okay, this is me, your educator on the platform with the highest live class rating thanks to my learners. Okay, a lot of happenings on Unacademy in the next few days. 14th of July, 17th of July and 21st of July. These are the dates which you should mark because these are the dates where the next batches are starting on Unacademy for CAT 2021. Remember, these are the last few batches before the CAT 2021 where the complete syllabus will be done. And if you are still aspiring for CAT 2021, it's almost, I would say, your last chance. Remember, when you subscribe to Unacademy Plus, use the code Parikshit Live because that would give you maximum discount on the subscription fee. Let's get started. Okay, so profile building, right? How to build your profile. Now, what is profile building? What is profile building? First thing is, what do you mean by profile building on your resume? Profile building are talking about achievements, right? Items which you can have on your resume and which will help you clear an interview. Now, profile building generally is done over the years, right? Probably since your school days, since your class 12 days, you can help improve your profile. But considering that we are just 7-8 months from the interview date, the interviews, IIMs interview happen somewhere around the month of March, right? Around the month of March. So you still have 8-9 more months to build your profile for an IIM. Now, I would divide profile building into two broad categories. First is easy things which you can easily achieve. And second, for the more aspiring ones, things which would be a bit difficult to do, but definitely can be done. Right? First, let's talk about the most obvious thing, the must-have item under the easy bucket. Hobby. Hobby is very important. Almost every one of you, right, who aspires to do an MBA must have a hobby. Now, first things first, there is a difference between hobby and interest. Hobby and interest, okay? Let's take an example. Let's understand it. I'm talking about a hobby. I'm not talking about an interest here. What is a hobby? Example of a hobby would be playing cricket. Playing cricket, you know what, is a hobby. Playing cricket is a hobby. But if you say you are like watching cricket, that's an interest. That's an interest. We are not talking about interest here. We are rather talking about hobbies. This is what my focus is. You like to indulge in something. You like to do something. Take part in something. So playing cricket is hobby. You like to cook. That is hobby. You like to eat. That is not your hobby. Right? So I hope you get the difference, the subtle difference between hobby and an interest. And all of you should develop a hobby. Now, why do I say so? Will the hobby fetch you brownie points or will the hobby help you get shortlisted for an IIM? Answer is absolutely no. The hobby does not help you get shortlisted for an IIM. Rather, what it helps you is talk during an interview. Remember, an interview is about how many? 30 minutes. An average interview might last around 30 minutes. So if you have a hobby, right, you can talk for 10 to 15 minutes on your hobby. So what hobbies can you develop just in case you don't have a hobby? Best examples could be reading novels. You know what? It could be you start reading storybooks, you start reading novels, right? what will happen is your verbal will improve. You'll be better able to grasp verbal passages. Okay, so this is just an example. Someone might be having a different hobby. You could have a hobby like painting. You could be having a hobby like painting. Think about it. If your hobby is painting, or for that matter, playing football, what can you talk, or what are the interview questions that you can expect? Think about it. If you say your hobby is painting, you know what kind of questions they might ask you. Which pencil or colors do you use? Which pencil do you use to draw and paint? When I say pencil, remember example would be HB. You know what HB? It is a full form. 2HB, 3HB. So whenever the pencil has a name, it has a significance. Do you know the significance of that? It could be tertiary colors, difference between tertiary versus secondary colors. Do you know the difference? If you say your hobby is painting, I'm just giving you examples. Do you have examples of famous painters? Do you know the names of three famous painters? And what are they famous for? Three famous painters. I'm just talking about the kind of questions that one might ask you if you say your hobby is painting. Correct? If you say it's playing football, it's not about how the football is played. They might ask you which footballer do you like? Which footballer do you like and why? So, as an example, it could be a role model. It could be a role model of a footballer. If you say a role model and you say that you like this person as the best, as your idol, as your role model, you got to back it up with stats. You cannot say, if you say cricket, okay, you cannot say Kohli is my favorite because I think he is so and so. Back it up with stats. Tell facts, okay, which someone might not know about. Only then it would fetch you brownie points. And the best example about football, you know what? If it is football, you can talk a lot about strategy. You can talk about strategy. You know what? If you say football is your hobby, you know why? You can connect to it. Why MBA? Why MBA? Think about it. Think about it. You know what? Football is all about strategy. The players are placed at specific positions on the field. Do you agree with this? When you look at football, you see that the players are spread out. They are spread out. There's a lot of team activity, team bonding, a lot of things which probably a successful manager or a leader also has. So you can connect the dots and you can probably say that I love football, you play football, strategy is something that you believe that football teaches you, or for that matter, chess teaches you, and strategy consulting is something that you like to do when you do an MBA. There are a lot of things. So from the hobby, you can actually go on and connect why an MBA, why an MBA. These are two very important points, and trust me, if you say cooking is your hobby, you got to understand the nutritional value. If they tell you how much protein does a human being need to consume on a daily basis, these are the type of questions that you expect if you say your hobby is cooking food. Remember, they will not ask you which is your favorite food, what do you like to eat. These are questions which everyone can answer. Think about questions. So please get yourself, okay, please have a hobby because it will help you talk during an interview. A 30 minutes interview, there are a lot of topics, and if there is something that you like, that is something that you do on a regular basis, it is very easy to talk about it rather than talk about probably quants or DILR, or for that matter, general awareness, right? So first thing is have a hobby, right? On your resume. Have a hobby on your resume and mention your hobby during the first question. When they will ask you, tell me about something, tell me something about yourself, mention your hobby then and there itself and say at least one sentence about your hobby. Probably you have won a lot of medals. You are a sports person, you play football, you have led your college cricket team. Such lines, do mention it during your tell me about yourself part during the interview. Correct? That's the first point. I hope I'm clear. Fine. Second point. Second point is NGO. Check if you can get yourself enrolled with an NGO. Correct? Why do I say enroll yourself with an NGO? Because there you can indulge, you can take part in social activities. Social activities. Right? It is very easy to talk about such activities. But remember, if you have not got yourself enrolled with an NGO, right? Here it is important. I must tell you, they will ask you for certificates. They will ask you for certificates. So if you are working with an NGO, but you think that certificate is something that you might not get, it might not fetch you any brownie points, because at the end of the day, you don't have any proof, okay, of it, right? You got to have some proof. So certificates are required to prove that you work with an NGO. Let's say, what NGOs can you get yourself, uh, participate, right? It could be, example, a Times of India initiative. A Times of India initiative, right? They have some teaching activities, literacy promotion activities among villagers, among slum dwellers, right? A lot of activities. There are other activities from CRY, right? Other child activities. Probably you can go and teach in a village. So I see people asking questions. I will answer your questions at the end, okay? So probably you can ask your questions and then let's finish it, and then all your questions will be answered. Fine. Now, what happens if you cannot get yourself enrolled with an NGO? Let's say there are no NGOs next to you, or probably you stay in a place where commuting and working in an NGO is probably not very feasible. Then at least take part. You take some initiative in social activities. Initiative, okay, of social activities. Any activity that you can talk about. It could be a simple activity like teaching your mate's child, right? Teaching your mate's child. I think this is something, teaching your mate's child. And this is just an example. This is just an example. Why? Because if you do so, you know what? You can talk about it during an interview. Now, someone here who is viewing me live, I'm sure might be thinking, you will not get a certificate. Here, exactly, you won't get a certificate. But can you talk about it? Yes, if you have done it, right, you can definitely talk about it. Remember the panelists in an interview, okay? They have 20, 25 years experience. If you have not done it, let's say you have not worked in an NGO, but you claim that you work in an NGO, you claim that you have taught your mate child, they can easily figure it out. So don't lie. If you lie and if you get caught, your interview ends there. Don't lie. So I don't know how many of you have watched that movie Drishyam, right? If you have watched that movie Drishyam, you know what? If you have experienced something yourself, it is easy to talk about it, but it's very difficult to cook up a story and tell. Teach your mate side. Otherwise, every Sunday, probably go to a place, get some water bottles, go get some mask, buy some mask, okay, and distribute it to some slum dwellers. Probably you can do this every Sunday. You can take a mask, distribute among slum dwellers, or take some water bottles, right? Take some Bisleri bottles, take some mineral water bottles. You love to drive, go on a long drive, stop at a traffic junction, and every Sunday give those poor people some probably mineral water bottles. Why am I saying all this? I'm telling you all this because during an interview, if you talk about social initiatives, social activities, remember the 20, 25-year experienced professors, they love to hear about such activities. It gives them an impression that you can be a social contributor to the society. You can contribute to the society at large, and you can contribute more handsomely, in a much better way, should you get into an IIM and probably become someone big in your life, right? So please make sure that the best is NGO with a certificate. This is the ideal scenario. If this is not possible, at least I think the bottom two are something that is possible, and you should get yourself involved in it. At least that will help you talk during an interview. That's point number two. Okay. Point number three. These are easy things. As I said, easy things which you can all do and mention in your resume. Point number three is language. Point number three is learn a new language. A new language, right? This also helps. Why? This helps to talk about it. Let's say you learn French, probably you learn German, or probably you are learning Chinese. Some new language, if you can learn. I'm not saying go and take tuitions of a new language. Nowadays, everything is available online. If you search for it, if you enroll in some online courses for free, in YouTube also it's there. Is it possible to learn a new language? If it is possible to learn a new language, at least you can talk during an interview. You can tell them what are the differences. What did the language teach you? Did the language give you a different perspective of altogether? So try to learn a new language. I know 6 months is too less a time, but within 6 months, definitely at least level 1, level 2, you might be completing. You might be completing, right? So again, this is something again out of interest. See, you cannot be doing all the things. I will give you 10 things. Out of the 10 things, try to do 2, 3, or 4 of them, right? 2, 3, 4 of them, depending on your interest. So new language is something that you can definitely do in the next 6, 7 months. Next 6, 7 months. Next, number 4, research work. Research work. Most of you who are preparing for an MBA, right? Preparing for an MBA are college students. So if you are in the final year of your college, or probably even if you are working, you can do some research work. Research work could be, example, extending your final year project. Example, extending your final year project. Final year project. Can you, in your final year project, right? You must have done something. Can you extend that project so that it can be used on a smaller scale? Practical use. Can you have a practical use of your final year project on a small scale? Is perfectly fine. But if you can have it, you know what? It will, on a smaller scale, it will separate you from the remaining 1,000 people who are giving the interview. Think about it. Remaining 1,000 will only talk about their project. But if you can say that your project has been implemented by your college, probably your professor took it, probably your professor asked it to do more research on it, or probably a company adopted it on a pilot basis, on a testing basis. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. You can go on 30 minutes of the entire IIM interview. You can talk about your final year project. Now remember, whatever these points I'm telling you, right? If you do it, you got to tell them during the first 5 minutes only. When they ask you, tell me something about yourself, you know what? You can tell them, I have been working on identifying the trends in machine language in recent days. Probably machine language is your final year project, and you are working on something, trying to get a thesis, trying to work with your professor to get an international paper published. So all of this can be mentioned, right, on your resume, and you can talk for entire 15-20 minutes. Out of 30 minutes, 70% of the time is spent on something you like. So check if this is possible in your case. Check if this is possible in your case. Very, very important. Trust me, it will fetch you brownie points during an interview. Right? Next. So again, I'm considering the easy things first, and then I will come to the difficult portions. Okay. 5. Next is professional relationships. Professional relationships. Okay. What is the meaning of professional relationships? Professional relationships. As an example, is it possible to probably be the captain of some team that you are working on in your college? Captain, or probably can you lead something? Can you start something? Can you be the co-founder of probably a team in your college? Or probably you have started a Toastmasters club. A Toastmasters club. Okay, a Toastmasters club in your organization. You're working somewhere, you're working in a TCS. Let's say your TCS zonal division does not have a Toastmaster. Can you take the initiative to start a Toastmasters club? Let's say IEEE chapter. Your college is not affiliated with any IEEE chapter. Can you actually take the initiative to open an IEEE chapter for your college? What will happen? You can write on your resume that you are the founder member of the college IEEE chapter. You are the founder member of your organization's Toastmasters club. Or probably another example could be team captain of your class, or captain of your college football team, college basketball team. So these are all professional relationships that you are developing, and you are leading them. Check if any of them are possible. If any of them are possible, trust me, it will show that you have leadership skills. It will show that you have leadership skills, and if molded well, if the IIMs give you a chance, you can become a future leader of this country. So please check if any of these are possible to put on your resume. Correct? Next. Sorry, I just pressed something else. Yeah. Next. Number 6. Number 6 would be internships. Internships. Checks if you can do some internship, especially if you have zero work experience. especially if you have zero work experience, look out for internships. It could be a 2-month internship. The pay doesn't matter. The pay doesn't matter. What matters is your learning. What matters is your learning. I think this is something which is easy at this point of time. Why I would say a lot of it is now work from home. If you have a computer, probably you can involve yourself with some 20-hour a week work, 20-hour a week, or for that matter 10-hour a week work, right? Probably approximately 10 hours per week. 10 hours per week. Could be anything. Could be anything. Can you get an internship? But if the internship is more aligned to what you intend to do during an MBA, that is best case scenario. Example, you want to take up finance during your MBA. Can you probably do some finance modeling internships? Or probably, you know what, you are doing a research on a finance company. That's your internship. You want to do marketing. Probably you have got an internship how to build a brand. Something you are working on sales, the sales report. You are working on the sales figures, trying to identify a pattern of a brand in your local area for the last 2 months, right? You are probably looking at the local grocery shop, looking at their sale figures and coming out with strategies how to improve the sell numbers. What it will show? It will show that you want to do marketing in your MBA, and now the last 7-8 months when the COVID had hit us hard, you had some time and you actually utilize that time to make sure that you build up on your basics, work on your basics so that you can get into an MBA marketing. So this shows that you are very clear on what you intend to achieve few years down the line. Even if a similar work profile is not possible. Let's say you want to do HR, okay, in your MBA, but HR internship is not possible. Fine, doesn't matter. Get some other work experience. Work for 2 months. At least you will get to know how team activities happen, how you write an email, right? Small things, but you will get to learn a lot of this, and definitely you can talk about all of this during an interview. So check if a 2-month internship is possible, which you can put in your resume. And again, I will remind you, certificate is essential. If you don't have a certificate, the IIMs might not consider it to be valid. They might say that you are lying, you don't have any proof. So certificate is absolutely necessary. When you apply, even if they're paying you very less, please ensure that you get a certificate. Only if you get a certificate, you can mention it in your resume. Get that point? Fine. So internship is another thing that you can do and put on your resume. Next is attending conferences. Attending conferences. Again, attending conferences. I think if you are in the final year of your engineering or final year of your graduation, right, attending conferences and representing your college is something can be easily done. Can be easily done, right? If there is some conference available and you are eligible to attend that conference, please go and attend that conference. If you can list out 2-3 conferences, okay, if you can list out 2-3 conferences, okay, you know what, the interviewer panel mostly are going to ask you about those conferences. What did they talk about it? What was your learning about those conferences? Did you do something after coming back from the conference? Did you do further research on it? So what were the takeaways of the conference? These would be the points which the interview panel will definitely ask you. Should you say in your resume that you have been attending conferences for the last 1.5 years, or for that matter, last 7-8 months? So attend conferences, but make sure that it is related to an area of study. Example, if you are a mechanical engineer, you might want to attend a conference which is related to mechanical engineering, or probably for that matter an MBA conference, right? But do something which is related to your life. If you are a mechanical engineer and let's say you are attending a conference on some BCom related thing, then it might not help you much. So attend conferences which are related to your area of interest, because that would show that you like attending conferences. You are always open to new learnings, and you can also talk about it very easily during an interview. So attending conferences is again something that you can easily and very easily do. And put it on your resume. Put it on your resume. See, these are all practical points. I'm not going to give you something which you can't do in the next 7-8 months. These are all practical points which you can easily implement, and probably all of them can be implemented and put on your resume, right? Very, very, very easily. Next will be content writing. Content writing. You know what is content writing? I don't know how many of you know about content writing. Most of you write well. It might not be English. It might not be necessarily English. It could be a vernacular language. You write stories well. You describe events well. You have a lot of thoughts in your mind and you pen them really well. Why don't you start a blog? Why don't you start a blog? Or if possible, get a job in a company on content writing. Someone will pay you some small amount, but it's okay. If nothing is possible, probably start writing blogs. Start writing blogs. If you write well, could be in any language, as I repeat. If you're good in Tamil, start a blog in Tamil. Start a own page of yours. Post it in Instagram. Post it in Facebook. Post it in LinkedIn. Let people read about it. And when in an interview, someone asks you what about your blog, you can tell them that these were the 2 areas, these were the 3 topics, or these were the 10 topics that you have written contents on in the last 5-6 months, and you have received a lot of appreciation, a lot of feedback, some criticism, and each of them have helped you to see the world in a different perspective. Correct? Think about it. Let's say you want to write a blog on the rising petrol prices. Okay, rising petrol prices. If you want to write a blog, you know what? You have to do a lot of research probably. And moment you do a research on why are the petrol prices rising, you get insights probably which at this point of time you are not even aware of, right? That will also help you to improve your content, improve your blog as well, make you more aware of your surroundings. And it's not necessarily be a general awareness. It could be story writing. It could be your area of interest. It could be creative writing. But start a blog. Start a blog. Fine. And next is number 9. Someone might not be good in content writing or blogs. For them, you know what? You can get involved in paper or poster presentation. Paper or poster presentation. I don't know how many of you do this, but at least I, during my last year of my graduation, right, presented a lot of papers. Presented a lot of papers. You too can do that. Even if you're in the last year of your graduation, you can take a chance, you can participate, and if you win, nothing like that. If you win, nothing like that, you can be involved in paper presentations. Take an area of interest, right? Find out which is your area of interest. Can you do some research and probably participate in a paper presentation competition, or for that matter, a poster making competition. This will again be activities which you can easily put in your resume. And the last thing that I will say is MUN. I don't know, this is a very upcoming thing. I used to participate in a lot, and a lot of students I have seen, especially from the premier B schools, IIT Bombays and all, they have MUN. What is MUN? Model United Nations. Model United Nations. These are basically Model United Nations. You Google this if you don't know. Okay, what are these? These are basically events, debating events. So here what happens, someone becomes the prime minister, someone becomes the opposition leader and speak and debate on issues of importance. So someone can imagine yourself that you are like Prime Minister Modi, and given a problem, the economic crisis, probably how will you solve the vaccination problem of the country, right? You present your views in competitions called MUN. This helps you become leaders. This shows that you have leadership qualities. Check if participating in MUNs is possible for you, because that will show that you are interested in areas of governance, in areas which affect the society. Because Model United Nations is all about the prime minister, opposition leaders, deputy prime minister. So you'll have your area of interest. Probably you'll have the vaccination problem, how to solve the COVID crisis, how to solve the unemployment scenario in the country. So for such scenarios, right, you can come up being the prime minister, okay, or the mock prime minister. You can come up with your own solutions. So I think these are 10 things which are easy and can be put on your resume Now I will come to the difficult part of it. These are easy things which we have written. I would have classified them as easy. Now I will come to the difficult things. It's not difficult. What I will only say is, rather I will say certifications, sort of certifications, and which will need effort, which will need some effort. Okay. So let's consider the difficult parts. Let's consider the difficult activities that you can do. First is my favorite, which I have done. I love finance, and for me, these are the 2 finance courses which are the toughest in the world, the CFA and the FRM. So I am a thorough finance guy. I love finance. You give me finance, I can talk about it day and night, right? And if you are one of them, you aspire to do an MBA in finance, find out about these 2 courses, the CFA and the FRM. You might not be completing these courses, but at least one level you might be able to appear before your interview. Even if you are not able to appear for one level, okay, probably you're not past the level, but if you get the books and probably start preparing for it, at least you can tell your interview panel that you have started preparing for your CFA, and they very well know what is a CFA and the FRM. They will start asking you questions, and if you're able to answer them, probably 70% of your interview time will be done on it, right? So the CFA and FRM, I will tell you, are the toughest finance exams in the world. Toughest finance exams in the world. Okay, so Google about it, you will get to know more about it in the world. And almost every person, okay, if you are especially in the IIM ABC, 50-60% of IIM ABC students, right, finance students, do this, okay. CFA and the FRM, they put you in the among the best in the world. They will make you among the best in the world in their respective subjects. Next is, if you are not interested in a CFA and the FRM, you can do some easy certifications like NCFM certifications. Okay, NCFM. What is NCFM certifications? Again, finance. These are all again finance. Okay, I'll come to other branches. Don't worry. These are again finance certifications, and these are easy. These are very easy. These are provided by NSE and BSE. Okay, the NSE and BSE, the National Stock Exchange and the Bombay Stock Exchange. You know what? They will talk about the basics of finance. They will talk about what is a mutual fund. They will talk about what are derivatives. They will talk about what is a stock. So very basics of finance, and you can do a few certifications. Not because this will help you a lot in your post MBA world, but at least to talk during an MBA interview. This don't require much effort, and you can easily get the certifications done, okay, by putting in probably 5 hours, 6 hours per certification. 5 hours, 6 hours per certification, and you can easily have a few of them. Okay, so 5-6 hours per subject, and you can do a lot of them. So these are per subjects. So there are a lot of certifications. Let's say every topic one certification. So you can pick up 4-5 topics and spend 4-5 hours per topic and write the certifications, get the certifications, and put them on your resume. Correct? That's point number 2. Point number 3 could be MS Excel. Okay, trust me. I have done my MBA, and I have a lot of my friends, almost in every B school. I've been in this profession for the last 10 years now, right? Myself an MBA and a friends almost in every B school. And if I ask any of my friends, or for that matter, my colleagues in office, or for that matter, if you ask me, what is the most important tool post an MBA, which you're going to use? Excel sheets. This is the most powerful tool for a manager, because for a manager to make decisions, he has to analyze a lot of data, and Excel sheet is where it come handy. Can you probably do some basic YouTube courses? You can go to Udemy, or even in YouTube you get a free courses, right? Or even you can go to Udemy. Excel courses, these are approximately, let's say, 20-hour courses. Try to get a course which also provides you a certificate at the end. So because if you do that, you can put it on your resume. Again, I repeat, certificates are necessary. Unless you actually get a certificate, someone tells you, unless you have some proof, you cannot put it on your resume. So go for a course, look up in Udemy, look up in YouTube, find out a course which is free or probably very cheap, and which will give you a certificate so that you can put it on your resume. Some Excel workshop, okay? Microsoft Excel workshop. Next can be, you know what? Six Sigma. This is again something which is very much in demand in today's world. Six Sigma certifications. Now, you might not be a finance student, so CFA, FRM, NCFM might not be of interest to you, but an Excel certification, a Six Sigma certifications, anyone can take. Look up for Six Sigma certifications. These are not very expensive. These do not require a lot of time. And again, you can easily get them just by putting in a few hours. So moment you get them, again, I repeat, certification is necessary. Proof is required. So anything where you have a proof, go for those certifications. Six Sigma certifications. Correct? Next will be data visualization tools. I don't know how many of you know it, but data is something which is most important in today's world. Data visualization slash analytics, analytic tools. Example of such tools could be Tableau, okay, Tableau, Power BI, Power BI, okay? Tableau, Power BI. Look up for them. Google them. Tableau, Power BI. These are drag and drop features. These are just drag and drop features. But if you can install this softwares on your computer for free and do a certification, again, I repeat, a certificate which you get at the end of the course, you can again put it up on your resume, because data visualization is something which comes in very handy during your MBA. So if you can have them on your certification before your IIM interview, they will fetch you brownie points. They will fetch you brownie points. So again, I'm just writing the name of the certifications. You can Google them up and go for the best certification available, cheapest price, and probably not too much of effort, because remember, you cannot put too much of hours. You are preparing for the CAT. You have a lot of other things to do. You need to appear for the mocks. So go for certifications which don't consume too much hours. Okay. Yeah. People are asking me questions. I will take up the questions at the end of it. Okay. Let's first finish it and then I will take up your course. Okay. Next is machine learning certifications. Machine learning. What are machine learning? Machine learning certifications. Okay. Certifications. Machine learning certifications could be learning a language, especially if you come from a programming background. Example R, Python, etc. Again, I will tell you, even if you don't come from an engineering background or a programming background, you are probably a BSc in science, you are probably a BCom on BCom graduate. These are languages which everyone can learn, and especially if you wish to do an MBA, these are anyway courses which are going to be taught to you. So can you learn them before joining a B school? Because what? It's not about before joining a B school, it's about you learn them. At least even if you clear the basic levels, right, you can put them on your resume. If you're able to put them on your resume, you'll be able to talk about them rather than letting the interview ask you anything in the world, right? You have specific things on your resume and they're going to ask you from those specific things. Let's say you put R, they're going to ask you, what did you do with R? What are the syntaxes that you know about R? How did you apply R in your normal world? Can you tell me as a manager how R will help me? So probably a lot of questions can be asked. You don't have to learn R, Python, all of them. Learn at least one of them. Correct? That's again machine learning certifications. I think I have covered almost everything. Yeah, these are the certifications which will come in handy, Even if you want to do marketing, you know what? Even if you want to do marketing, for marketing people, especially for sales people, these certification, MS Excel, the most important. For finance guys, most important. Excel sheet is something that is going to come in handy for everyone. And when I say Excel sheet, I just don't mean Excel sheet. I also mean including, uh, the commands, the code, right? The coding in Excel, in Excel, right? So check, you don't have to have a coding background as such. These are very easy commands, specific commands that, let's say you want to find out the sum. So Excel already has a sum function embedded in it. You just have to type SUM and it will do the sum, right? So do you know about all those commands in Excel? Gonna help you out. Now I think I can take up questions. Now I think we can take up questions which you have, right? So let's start in serial order. Whatever questions you have, put it live in YouTube. I'm going to answer them. First question. Can we tell playing online games as a hobby? Video games which include strategy and teams. Subhashis, you can talk about online games, but I don't think you should talk about online games like PUBG, right? I remember the Prime Minister even saying to class 10 students, class 12 students before their exams, don't play PUBG, don't get addicted to PUBG, right? So don't talk about games which are violent in nature. They might give a wrong impression. But rather, if you have other games, if you have other activities, you have games, I don't know, I don't play video games. If there are video games which helps you build probably your visualization skills, helps you develop your strategies, okay, helps you think about more about strategies, helps you visualize, gives you relaxation, you can talk about them, but don't talk about anything which is terror related where there's a lot of killing and all, right? Because a lot of people like those games. Don't talk about those games. They might give a wrong impression. Someone is saying club leader in 3 years of graduation. That's a very good point. If you're the leader of your club, you can definitely mention about it. You can mention about all the initiatives that you took as the leader of your club during the 3 years of your graduation. Then someone is asking 6 months internship in social media marketing in NGO. Super awesome. You have a certificate. I believe you have a certificate. If you don't have a certificate, try to get a certificate and speak about it during your interview. Next, a question is, I am from BED background. Will it help me in an interview? See, the background doesn't matter, right? The only thing that matters is if you are a non-engineer, you get diversity points. If you have done your B.Ed, it's super awesome. There will be very few people who have done B.Ed. And so the panel will have a lot of questions to ask you from your graduation. Let's say engineering. So many engineers go, they will seldom ask so many questions. But if you've done a B.Ed, not too many B.Eds, they will ask you a lot of questions from your graduation. And also you get diversity points in some of the B schools. Next, someone is asking, please tell about operations and supply chain management apart from Six Sigma. Arjun, to be very honest, you need to find out what are the supply chain, right? Supply chain and operation certifications that you can do. You remember there are, if you have heard about CERT, some critical path method. I don't know if you have certifications for this, right? Even if in your data interpretation, you do this. What is the most least cost route, right? There are a lot of routes available, and which route should you supply your materials? There are DI caselet as well, wherein the time will be least and the cost will be cheapest. So find out if there are such courses in your supply chain and operation which you can take up and put it on your resume, right? Any certifications. So to be frank, that's not my area of interest, so I don't have much idea about it. But you can find out about CRT. I think there is something called PERT. I don't remember the name, to be honest, but yeah, there are certifications on this. Check out. Does internship give weighted to the resume? Yashwant, if you ask me, just looking at the resume, will they give you weightage? No. But the things you mention, and if you are able to talk about them, you are able to justify about them during an interview, definitely they're going to help you out, right? You say you have done a Six Sigma certification. You don't get brownie points for them. They start asking you Six Sigma questions. You are able to answer all of them. Will you get more marks in an interview? Definitely yes. Will the panel think that they should shortlist you because not many people who have come that day for the interview have Six Sigma certifications? Definitely yes. Correct? So looking at the words, English, what you have written, no marks. But if you're able to justify them, definitely yes. A lot of brownie points. Next is, would this be helpful for global B schools? As yes. Definitely yes. For global B schools also, this is going to help you, right? What I've talked about today is not only for Indian B schools, but also for the global B schools. This is definitely going to help you, especially if you do courses like CFA and FRM, which are internationally recognized. Internationally recognized. So if you want to go for a global MBA, try to get certificates or try to do courses which are internationally recognized. Something which might be recognized only in India might not be recognized somewhere else. So hence try to go for international certifications. How is my academic profile? 87. See, again, academic is something you can't change. There is a video of mine last week where I have talked about academic profile. So I don't want to repeat that. A video of mine last week, it was there. Okay, I am shortlisting criteria. Go through that video, you will get your answer. Next is, while preparing for CAT and also having, so let's read the question. So while preparing for CAT and also having final year exams, how to do these additional courses with respect to time? Simple, right? You don't have to do all of them. Pick up two of them. Pick up two of them, right? Pick up two of them. And then you need to prioritize things. These last 4 months, think about what are the time that you can actually cut on. Probably if you're sleeping 8 hours, can you sleep for 6 hours? You meet a lot of your friends. Can you cut down on that time? Probably every night you call up your girlfriend. Can you cut that time, right? For the next 4 months, just for 4 months, tell your girlfriend, I'm not going to speak to you 1 hour. Rather than 1 hour, I'm going to prepare for a certification. Very much possible. So find out during the 24 hours of your day, what is that 1 or 2 hour which you can find out extra, which you can cut down on your recent activities, right? You are probably sleeping for 9 hours. Cut down on 3 hours of sleep. Find out. So that is up to you to determine how you're going to find out the time, right? Remember, competition is very high and you got to be a part of the competition. There is no other way out, right? Next. Someone is asking me, sir, I am not from programming background, but I have casually completed in some hackathons and have some Udemy certifications. Can I introduce coding as a hobby? Divyesh, if you are not from coding background and if you want to introduce coding as a hobby, please be very specific. What coding? Which language? Is it coding about, is it algorithmic coding, or probably is it about R Python coding? What exactly are you looking at? Or probably solving a puzzle, developing a logic, developing a code to solve mathematical puzzles. Be very specific, because if you just mention coding, it can be C, it can be Unix, it can be Java, it can be any language in this world. So don't tell coding. Narrow it down. Tell them what specific area or language do you consider in coding as your hobby. Okay, so narrow it down so that the interview panel knows exactly what to ask you. Next, sir, some top colleges for masters in business economics. Again, business economics. See this, I'm talking about an MBA out here for business economics. Economics is a part of your MBA curriculum. Now, if you ask me masters in economics, this is probably not the right video, right? This is for MBA. And in MBA, the first year, all of you will have economics. That is not economics which you do in your graduation. That is managerial economics. As an example, if you become a manager, you need to understand tomorrow if the COVID situation happens, how will that affect the Indian economy? And if it impacts the Indian economy, how would it impact your business in particular? That's what a manager needs to know, right? So managerial economics is what will be taught to you during an MBA, and it is taught in all B schools. Next, I am a profitable market trader. Should I get a NCFM certificate? So Nitin is saying he is a profitable market trader. So you can't make a statement profitable market trader. Rather, you can talk about, you don't have to go for NCFM certifications. You can talk about technical tools, right? Again, this reminds me of another thing that you can actually do. You know what? Technical analysis, especially for finance people. Technical analysis, right? Just type up in Google, technical analysis stock trading. Type technical analysis, right? Technical analysis, stock trading certifications. Okay, stock trading, stock markets. Okay, check it. There are a lot of graphs, there are a lot of technical analysis courses. You don't have to know about anything, but just by looking at charts, pattern of movement in prices, you are going to do a buy or sell on a stock. So there are a lot of courses on it. So if you are a profitable market trader, can you talk about some of the strategies? Can you talk about some of the structures and strategies? Probably you are doing technical analysis. Can you talk about them during your interview? Do you know what's a candle chart? Do you know what is the support and the resistance? Probably such questions, if they start asking you, you should be able to answer. Next, from where do these courses for certificates? Abhijit, Udemy is the best way. Udemy is the best platform to do certifications, but most of their certifications are paid. So if you are ready to pay, you can go for Udemy. If you are not, if you find that the pay is very high, the course fee is very high, you can search online free courses on YouTube. You can also search free online courses on YouTube. Yes. Next, sir, tell something for BCom students. Rashid, BCom, you can do a lot of it, right? You can, what you can do for, so Rashid is saying BCom students, tell something for them. Rashid, you can take up a company analysis, right? You can take up probably some company, you can take up a TCS, you can take up Tata Motors, or you can take up any company and do a valuation of that company. Probably, do you know some of the valuation tools? Can you read the balance sheets, determine there, do some ratio analysis and figure out how good or bad is the company? Probably you come up with a buy, sell or a whole recommendation. So I think for BCom people, best ways would be figure out 2-3 companies and in detail do an analysis of those companies, prepare some reports, and on your resume mention that you have done detailed analysis of, let's say, a Tata Motors. Detail what analysis? Balance sheet, income statements, profit and loss. You have come up with a ratio analysis. You have done a valuation of the company. So many things you can do for BCom, right? Lot of it you can do, right? So all of it, you can mention it in your resume. Do one or two, pick up 1 or 2 companies, but do it end to end, okay? Next is Udemy your course here, from where, from do course. As you find out, you need to figure out what suits you the most. Udemy or course here, you can go to both of them and find out what courses are available, how many hours, what is the cost. Accordingly, you can take a decision. And whether it provides you a certificate at the end. Remember, certificates, I keep telling you, if you do a course, figure out whether you will get a certificate at the end. That is an important criteria to take into consideration, because IIMs will demand a certification for anything that you say, because proof is required for each and everything, right? Next is Nitin is saying, sir, I'm a good technical analyst, but how to get those certifications? Nitin, again, you can go to Udemy, you can go to Udemy, right? You can go to Coursera, or find out, type in Google, right? Find out what are the certifications you can do. If you say that you are already a good technical analyst, probably you can type in Google or on YouTube or on Udemy, advanced technical certifications, advanced technical analysis certifications, so that when you are doing the certification, it also adds value to you. It also adds value to you. Let's say worst case, someone is not able to get a certification. You still can write about it. You still can say that you know Tableau. You still can say you know Power BI. And they will ask you, do you have any certifications? You might say no, but you know what? If they start asking you questions on Tableau, they start asking questions on Python, and you are able to answer all of them, that itself will prove that you know it. That itself will prove that you are not lying. But you know what? It is always better to have a certification. Just in case you don't have, fine. Be ready to answer questions on it. They will not take you on face value. If you say, I know Python, I know R, I know Excel, I know PowerPoint, I know Tableau, I know Power BI. No, they're going to ask you questions. You are able to answer. You're going to justify. You cannot answer. Then they will start doubting. And if they start doubting, at least if you have a certification, you can show them, look, I have a certification. Then probably they will say that, okay, he's not able to answer questions, but at least he has a certification. He's speaking the truth. Simple. Yes. Some review about IMR Ghaziabad. I don't know about IMR Ghaziabad. I only know about IMT Ghaziabad. IMT Ghaziabad is an okayish college. One should not aspire to get into IMT Ghaziabad, but if circumstances say that there are no other colleges, worst case scenario, IMT Ghaziabad call I have. I don't have any other college. I am desperate to do an MBA this year. You can go for IMT Ghaziabad. I don't know about any college called IMR. Okay, I only know about a college IMT Ghaziabad, and I'm talking about it. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it for today. That's it for today. I hope the session was useful. If anyone is a 2022 aspirant, there are courses for you as well starting on Unacademy. You can enroll for these batches. And yes, other offerings on Unacademy, you can enroll for these offerings. Use my code Parikshat Live for maximum discounts. And yes, if you wish to subscribe for the scholarship test on Unacademy, it's absolutely free. Use my code Parikshat Live. So remember, the code Parikshat Live will get you 10% discount on every course on Unacademy. And also, this is the only code. The code Parikshat Live is the only code which will give you free mentorship. I repeat, free mentorship from my side. So if you have any doubts while practicing at home, while preparing for the mocks, if you have any doubts, and if you have enrolled with Unacademy using my code Parikshat Live, you will also get free mentorship. So 10% discount, free mentorship, all of it is available using this code. And when you join, if you use this code to join Unacademy Plus. And one last thing, students often ask me, if I use this code to join Unacademy Plus, do I get access to only your lectures? No, you will get access to all lectures, right? Get access to all lectures, all educators, because you are subscribing to Unacademy. You are not subscribing to any particular educator. So all educators, you will get access if you join Unacademy using the code Parikshat Live. The only benefits is 2 extra benefits. You get 10% discount and the free mentorship, which will not come with any other code. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to see you in my next session. Till then, goodbye.